Hello and welcome to the first devlog of the Mayo Bandits for our current project, Press D to Die. We've been talking about doing something like this for a whole while now, and because of recent things, we actually got to do this right now. This is this devlog is going to be a bit more along the lines of being a podcast rather than being like a fully edited video with high production value or anything. We just kind of want to have like a way of documenting what the fuck we're actually doing, and to have something that we can look back to. Maybe also to find some playtesters. But
Yeah.
but in general, we just hope you enjoy some very young game developers going through production essentially. Um,
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Achim. I'm a German former game development student. Go on, George.
Yeah. Sorry. My name is George Wells. Once again, former game development student. Was in the same school as this weirdo right over here. Don't know who he is. Don't want to know. Um, but yeah, no. This whole project, Prestige to Die, was his love child, and he wanted to make it better and better and better. And I just jumped along for the ride because I want to become a better designer, and he's a good friend of mine. But no, sorry, I don't know him. Don't want to know him. Never do. He
Yeah.
seems like an
Okay.
awful person.
Obviously, just
Yeah,
look at
no.
me. Who is such who would not be a bad person with such facial hair?
You
It's
have a
the evil
goatee.
French beard.
Don't
Okay.
hate on the French already. This is the first episode.
Yeah,
Wow.
okay. Yeah, we are kind of the two developers that work on this project more or less full time currently. George is working on it a lot more than I am, or at least
Well,
in the last in this week he definitely will. Starting this week he
yeah.
definitely will. We have a few other people in the team that don't really fill in developer roles mostly. We have an artist. We have one artist who's working on it sometimes, but not really mainly because she's also doing a lot of other things.
Yeah.
We have someone who helps us with blueprinting in Unreal, so essentially visually scripting, if you don't know what that is. And we have two former fellow students of ours who actually passed the year that we got kicked out of, and are currently filling in sort of how would you say that?
Advisory
Yeah, like
roles. Like
advisory roles,
they.
reviewing roles, tutoring
Yeah.
roles, essentially, kind of.
Yeah. Once again, we're still suckling at the teat of our old school via
Yeah,
the
kind of.
nice people there and also the good info we get from them. Very helpful guys.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to start describing yourself, describing what makes you a developer, or where do you want to go, or should I start with this?
Um. Well, I think I'll start. Why not? You've
Okay.
been talking a bit too much. Just kidding. Talk
Like
more,
usual.
please. I wanna. No, no, no. I want to listen to your beautiful voice. Come on. Yes.
Wonderful.
Let's.
Just look at
Uh,
just hear my voice cracks.
yes. Sounds like Shakira.
Yes,
Anyway.
very professional. I want you guys to definitely know that we are highly
Yes.
professional, as you can see with the whiteboard in the background.
Yes.
We're obviously fully capable professionals.
Of course.
No, we're not.
What do you mean?
Okay, you want to start? You
Okay.
start.
Um, as a developer, honestly, I'm still quite unsure what direction I want to go. But mostly for this project, I want to work a little bit more on my professional and technical skills. Technical skills are coming in slowly. Professionalism, not there at all. Not doing well on that front, and he can tell you instantly why not.
We're both bad with that. I just have a little bit more standards than you do.
Wow,
Sorry.
pointing me out like that. Come on, as the peasant of the group. Um,
Obviously. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. For now, I have my eyes set on either a technical designer, being a technical designer, or a most likely a what was it again?
Technical
What? How
design.
can I forget?
What do you mean?
Uh, quality and assurance. There we go.
Ah, Q&A. Okay.
Q&A. Sorry, not question and answer, but quality and
Yeah,
assurance.
Q the the game development Q&A.
Yeah, the game development one. Okay. I mean, there's still questions and answers in game development, but I'm talking about
Especially
the
also
role.
in Q&A.
Oh, definitely. There's too many questions, not enough answers.
And with every answer you get, there are more questions.
Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle. What about you, Achim?
Okay, I am I am also really undecisive of what I actually want to do because we both don't really have too much experience. We have enough experience, I would say, that we could call ourselves developers, but not enough that we could call ourselves professionals.
No, nowhere even
Definitely
close.
not. Like I've been experimenting a bit with engines before I studied before I studied at our old school, but after that after we studied 1 year, we got kicked out, and since then, since about autumn last year, we've been starting to develop this project right now, and I still am very interested in level design. I really like level design. I also kind of like UI design and technical design and kind of a few other fields,
Hmm.
which is really bad, kind of. But
Well,
I mean,
it's
yes,
an
it's kind of good, but it's also bad for me to decide. But also, I still have
yeah,
a lot of time to decide, so I guess that's okay.
yeah.
So yes, I'm definitely very interested in level designing and um, technical design. Yeah, technical design, level design are currently big fields, but I really like making menus as well, which is weird because never really saw myself liking to make menus.
I mean,
But
you learn a lot about yourself as you go on. I never quality and assurance, but
yeah, Q&A
yeah,
is
because
Q&A. I mean, the thing is that people told me that I have potential in Q&A simply because of my tendency to talk to people.
oh yeah, definitely. That's
But
a
fuck that. I'm
no,
sorry, it's nothing for me, mate.
that's fair. I can see there's a lot of downsides to it because by doing Q&A, you'll learn that you are not of quality and you're not assured.
Essentially. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So next question. Why the hell
Mhm.
do we actually do the project? How do we get to doing the project kind of? I can start with that if you want to.
Yeah, please do because I completely got that question. I understood it so perfectly that I'll let you go through it so then you learn the
Okay.
lessons as you go.
Okay.
Fail faster, right?
So in that first year, so in the only year that we studied, I made I was part of a team that made a project called Cube Style, which was essentially a small demo game in which you had to kill yourself in order to get further in a platformer. So you had like this small cube as a character, and whenever you pressed a certain button, you died. And when you die, you leave a small cube there, which you can then use in order to traverse through the level essentially. This cube didn't have any gravitational thing, so you could just place it in midair, and then you had a platform that you could jump on. I really like that concept personally, and I was also very interested in developing it further either way. But then I failed way too fucking closely, and I was of course thinking, what the fuck am I gonna do now? And then George George and I with another friend we went to Cologne last year to the Gamescom. To the Gamescom.
Wow. Show off.
Um, of course. And we were kind of drinking on a balcony, and we were thinking, and then they came up with the same idea that I had, that I've been also telling them about once in a while, but not really a lot. And George was like, "Holy shit, guys! we can do this. We could just make the project and just take like just take like something and just make another project over the next year. You were telling something along the lines of that, and I think you also made the jump to cube style a lot that we could just take that. I'm not completely sure, but essentially,
I mean, I forgot that night. It shows how much I drank.
not that much actually. I smoked
Wow,
more. I smoked more than you drank.
that's fair.
But okay. No. We were getting this idea slowly of hey how about we just take that concept that we made that I made in that small project which actually had a surprising amount of potential for a first year project, and just develop it further and maybe throw it out on Steam for like $2 or $3 and or I don't know how much, or if, depending on how much we have, just release a free demo and maybe work on it later on, something like that.
Yeah.
But essentially, but the biggest thing that we want to take from this is portfolio material and something to be proud of, and to definitely to deepen our developer skills, especially in level design, because this game is extremely level design centric.
It's very fun to make in level design.
Yes, it actually is.
Yeah.
It's relatively easy to make it modular. It's relatively easy to make modular and so on and so forth. We're gonna definitely gonna talk about that later on a bit more.
Oh,
Um,
definitely. But now we don't have the time for that, and we gotta go on
ah,
question.
don't worry. We are only 11 minutes in.
Wow.
11
That's
11
11
minutes and 30.
minutes too much. We gotta finish the video ASAP. Wow.
Yeah.
Slow.
Okay. Okay. Then you definitely want to go to the next point, don't you?
Nah,
So,
I'm.
the
Oh, which
next
one was the
point.
next one? Oh yeah, there we go.
No, okay. Yeah, that's at least why I do the project. I at least I really want to deepen my knowledge when it comes to level design and kind of file on kind of deepen my skills just generally. And
Yeah.
also something that we both kind of needed to do, but I don't know if I needed it more than you did. Um, a space where I can work on my personal problems so that they don't bite me in the ass later on when I try to actually be a developer that makes money off their skills,
Yeah. I mean,
because I'm not doing
school.
that right now.
Yeah. No. I'm kinda doing that. I'm trying to. I mean, I've told you before, like all the stuff that I feel kind of insecure about as a
mm,
developer,
mm.
and I'm trying to get better and better at that stuff. And yeah, no, I'm here most. I'm here for the exact same reason, for the two aforementioned reasons of portfolio and gaining new skills, because I'm looking to become a game developer. If I don't gain the skills of becoming a game developer, what the hell am I doing? But I mean, the other reason is because I want to. My friend here needs help, and I wanted to help him achieve this lovely little thing. Plus, I saw the game and I thought, wouldn't this be fun to develop? I mean, I thought it was fun to develop, like, which block was it? Block C?
It was Block
When you
C.
made it?
It
Yeah.
was the third out of the four projects that we did that year.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was kind of surprised that my project won the level design thing
I
for
was really
Block C.
surprised for that as well, because
Yeah,
I didn't really see that for your game. I mean, it was good level design, but it wasn't like the best level design of that project.
yeah, no. You
I'm
mean
not
about
saying that ours were, because there were a lot of issues with our level
uh,
design as well in that project. But holy fuck,
I'm gonna have to look back on the other projects to see what.
Aztec,
Yeah, no, that one. That
Aztec.
one.
Okay, Aztec was like a student project where you walked around with your player character, and essentially you had to just go from one point to the other point in the level, and in order to do that, you had to move different objects throughout the levels
Yeah.
in different
How?
kind of ways.
Yeah. I mean, I worked with some of the guys who made that, and they're.
Oh, I did too. I work with Yuri.
Yeah, I worked with
Mm.
Jakob. Jakob was really good. But anyway, um, but yeah, I'm
Oh yeah,
also.
there's one last point that we should have mentioned before. because this is just such a fun project to just develop, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's something that you have to develop, so there are going to be shit times. But just looking at the concept, I really wanted to develop this further, just because I wanted to do so. And
Yeah.
I can even still see myself actually taking this concept again in like in a few years when I actually have skills.
This is it, and actually make it good,
Yeah,
like how it's supposed to be.
just imagine instead of just leaving a corpse every single time you die, every single time you would press a certain button, there would be a platform that appears directly beneath you, and you could just use that in order to go directly instead of respawning constantly. Imagine that. That could be interesting. But okay,
Yeah.
I think before we go a bit more in depth into why we actually find this project a bit more interesting, we should first cover what the fuck this project is actually about.
Oh yeah, that's true. Um,
So, uh, you want to
should I
pitch
go
that?
for it?
Yeah, I have been
Yeah,
talking
sure.
enough.
How dare you? Once again, beautiful voice, beautiful person. I don't mind that at all. So, um, don't flatter yourself, honey. I say that to too many people. All right. Yeah. Our project, once again, yes, it's Press D to Die. That's the name for
the
now.
the working title, yes.
The working title. That's why I said the name for now. Um, is a game where, upon the death of your character, you leave a corpse which you can use as a sort of platform to go from one place to the other. It's basic. It uses the mechanic of death in a way to further the player's goals rather than put away from it. And it and I see it as a game with a lot of potential. We've added a lot of stuff from the initial project that he made in Block C.
Definitely, we did.
Yeah, we've definitely added more movement venues,
Yeah. Okay, so
wall jumping, grappling hook.
yeah. What you can pretty much do as a player, you have a few basic abilities that you can use throughout at least most of the levels after the onboarding section. So after the tutorial section, you have of course first of all you can press D to die.
Wow.
So whenever you die, if it's by your own making, or just because you died, you will leave a corpse.
Yeah.
When leaving a corpse, this corpse is not in any way, shape, or form influenced by gravity, but it is influenced by its own limitations. So, for example, opposite to the original concept that we had, in the original concept that we're basing this on, the corpses lasted only a certain amount of time, which is essentially not that bad of an idea, because that way the corpses don't only exist for like a few seconds, and after they're gone, they're gone. That way you don't have to put a different restriction on the corpses, and you can just spam corpses, and it will completely enable you to do anything. For example, just spam D on the respawn point, and then you just can't move anymore. There would be something kind of shit. We replaced
Yeah.
that with having a limitation on the maximum amount of corpses that you can use. So you can die once, that's cool. You can die twice, you can die twice, that's cool. You can also die three times, which is cool, and there are three corpses. If you would use the corpses again and then die once more, the first corpse that you place would disappear. So essentially, that's kind of the basic thing that we base this on. Then you have additional movement options, of course, besides walking left and right and jumping, because this is a 2D platformer. Um, you can also wall jump. You can generally just wall jump. You can wall jump off one wall and get to a certain height and blah 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 blah. But you can also wall jump off your own corpses. So even if there's an empty space, you can use your corpses in order to wall jump to a quite high place, depending on how much this actually on how much you can actually use all of these things together. And we have a grappling hook. The grappling hook works completely non-physics based, so you can just swing around one point without having to worry about gravity pulling you down, because who the fuck believes in gravity anyway these days? And you can also reuse this grappling hook on the corpse itself. And we think, and as far as we've tested this, this actually creates interesting dynamics that we can use in level design, and they're also really fun to use, especially the grappling hook, as long as it works properly. because holy fucking shit, this grappling hook is a bitch. This grappling hook is more of a bitch than anything that I've ever seen before. I'm also very
Yeah.
inexperienced, but still, this is a bitch.
Yeah, it's literally a dog off of its leash, and it's rabid. Like, you can't tame this thing.
And directly next to your yard is like a running traffic. It's like it's just a matter of time when it breaks down.
The dog is directing the traffic, by the way. The cars are going right towards your house right now. That's how bad it is.
Fuck. Oh my god. Oh fuck's sake. Okay, where were we at? Okay.
Yeah.
We actually had structure for this kind of podcast
And it
like.
broke down.
It didn't broke down. We just sidetracked ourselves.
Okay.
Wait, where were we at? We had the team,
But what's
us as
the
developers.
history of the development? I think we're at.
Yeah, the basic concept. Okay, I think we know. I think you know the basic concept now. Now,
Yeah,
what happened? Because it was kind of a shit show. Oh
it
yeah.
really was.
I think before I say anything about what happened, I have to break down how we actually got to the basic concept, because in the project that we made the basic concept, we had about 8 weeks time, where every single one of the team members could work full time, at least 35 to 40 hours a week. 40 hours a week is like the best thing, is like the thing that you should be doing, but nobody really completely usually got that.
Yeah.
Usually either went like 1 or 2 hours beneath that, or like, I don't know, 10 hours above that, depending on if you're Simon or not.
Hey, stop comparing people to Simon, okay? Not
Simon.
everyone is subhuman.
Subhuman? You mean überhuman?
Sorry.
Übermensch.
Uberhuman.
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 Uberhuman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the initial concept, we had 8 weeks time and 4 people to work on it with full time. We are 2 people without a working environment, that have to work on this project literally out of different countries. Right now, not any more different countries, as you also
But
live in Germany right now, as well as I do.
yeah.
But before
But
that,
now we're, instead of being 2 Netherlands apart, now we're 3 Netherlands apart.
essentially, yeah, because
Yeah.
now that fucker is that this fucker is wait, how do we do this?
I mean,
This
yeah.
fucker is living in Frankfurt, while I'm living like in the northwest Germany. That's like, it doesn't really make anything better.
Yeah, he lives in Bramal.
Yeah, I live in Jamal. No,
In Jamal.
in Jamal. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah.
It became kind of a clusterfuck.
Especially
After a
in
bit.
the beginning.
Oh yeah, no. I was directing you in the beginning, and now you're directing me,
Yeah.
and now it's coming back to me directing you. It's weird, vicious cycle.
Okay, so at the beginning we tried to work on it, but we never worked in this kind of unprofessional environment. I mean, we were unprofessional before,
Yeah,
but this is like a next step.
because there's
we didn't
no
have
structure.
There's no structure. There are no hard set deadlines that we actually have to follow. This is something completely new for both of us. But in the beginning, we also kind of had to cope still with failing at the school,
Yeah.
at our former school, because this is actually something that is really fucking that really fucked over my a lot of my planning. And I,
Oh, really?
and of course also I had like the best time of my life while I was there. So this was kind of a bad. This kind of hit hard for me, that I suddenly got, nope, you're not gonna pass and you're banned for life.
Yeah. No,
So
it was the same for me, but unlike you, they told me that sadly they gave me light. They didn't give it. His story is a little bit sadder because some of the teachers said, "Yeah, you'll pass. Don't worry. Next year it'll be beautiful and wonderful."
mm,
And then
I
given
was I was nearly convinced that that I would go there, because of how teachers talk to me and how much effort I put into this. Because holy fucking shit, I worked before the deadline. I worked about uh 35 hours straight in order to pass.
Yeah.
So that was really fucking shit for me. And in the beginning of this project, this was still all in effect because yes, we had about a summer of time to deal with that shit. But yeah, but then again, for me, there were also a lot of personal reasons for me to put in there, which is why this actually really was bad. It was really bad for my mental state. One of them being
Yeah.
that I have a girlfriend still in the Netherlands that I met that I met during my school time there, which is still not really good for me. But I kind of started to get used to it.
Yeah.
Um, you didn't have a girlfriend, but it's still probably shit for you.
It was shit for me, but honestly, it was less of a blow to me because the teachers literally told me before regrading me, they said, "Yeah, you're good, but in this school, you're not continuing. We think that you're gonna flop in year 2, and we think how we're teaching you here is not the way like you
Yeah,
should be. It's basically I'm not learning fast enough with the method they gave, which I was already learning pretty quick. So either I'm deficient or I learn in a different way, and I'd prefer to subscribe to the latter narrative. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, no, they told me that one of them came up to me and gave me a heartfelt story about how he went into development and stuff like this and told me to continue, which was very nice. So by the time of me having to,
you're talking about a Scottish teacher?
yeah,
Ah,
he's
okay.
Scottish?
Yeah,
I thought it was
big beard,
English.
SJW bit, White Knight.
Oh, no, 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 no. I'm not talking about that one. I'm
Ah,
talking about
okay.
the other one.
Ah,
Yeah, he gave the heartfelt speech,
ah,
but the
you mean
SJW
sideburns?
one did tell me to
You mean sideburns and
yeah, I
SpongeBob
mean
porn?
Sideburn.
Ah, SpongeBob porn.
Um
Okay.
and yeah, no. So by the time of what's it called? Like readmission or
A reassessment.
reassessment, there we go. By the time of reassessment, I was burnt out from already doing the project for so long and getting a pretty low grade. And I just looked at it and I thought to myself, do if I'm going to just be this stressed throughout all my time working, learning and working here, even though it's been the best time of my life and people here are awesome, they all have my same wants and needs. Well, not really wants and needs, but they all have the same likes as me, and they're all awesome people. But if I'm just gonna be stressed out of my mind, and if they think their teaching method is gonna make me hate game development, I'm gonna take their word on it and just stop. And at that point, I just decided, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not continuing this. I'm gonna, and I just went up and left. I think because I accepted my fate a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
I it was less of a blow to me.
Yeah, for me, I mean, to give this a bit of a context, whenever we do a project at our old school, we had 8 weeks of time for working on the project, and as soon as it's 5 p.m. on Friday of the last day, um, you have no access to your documents anymore, and you're pretty much waiting for your first grade. If your initial grade for the project is fine enough, it's like a 5.5 out of 10 points,
Yeah.
then you pass. But if you do not have a 5.5, you're gonna have to do the reassessment week. In the reassessment week, you have about 1 week of time to get your grade up to at least a 5.5. Of course, that 8 week of work you did beforehand is still counting.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it's
this is
really
kind of
hard.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
it's
hard shit.
very hard to get your grade back up in like 1 week in 8 weeks of work, which
To
is
be fair, I
yeah,
did manage to get my grade up from a 1.8 to a 5.8 once,
yeah,
and
because of a
then
research paper on Doom.
yeah, my research paper on Doom. I'm a Doom fanboy.
Of
Yeah.
course you are. I
I
still haven't played it. I should, but yeah.
Yes, you should.
Wow.
Yes, you should. Okay. No, but that was kind of the Kickstarter. Us failing school, and as soon as that shit started, we were kind of slacking off mostly.
Well, I
I
mean, I
was.
had a dishwashing job, so
Yeah, you had a dishwashing job. You had a
yeah,
dishwashing job, so you were not working completely full time. If I had the
yeah.
possibility to do so, I honestly didn't. I should have. I didn't. Um, I think like the turning point was Nov- November or December, one of the
I
two.
think it was the
December.
beginning of December because I remember something. Literally, the day, uh, the day after we decided to work full on the project, the day after, as if a calling from the Lord above, the restaurant I worked at as a dish cleaner, I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't very happy working there. The day after, I was said, "Hey, can you come in on like Thursday?" I'm like, "No, sorry, I don't think I have the time." He's like, "Cool." And then like an hour later, "Yeah, so you're out of a job." I'm like, "What? Have I been fired?" He's like, "No, the restaurant failed, so we're going to a new thing."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was the day, the literal day after.
I think that was only also one of the few days I actually got up in time for the morning meeting.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, like I said, we both have professional issues.
Yeah, at
Mine
least
is
I
most.
wake up on time.
Yeah, that's kind of my problem. I have a problem with actually waking up on time. Like not the usual. Okay, we're gonna meet at 10, and then we're gonna meet at 10, and then I show up at like 10:30. For me, it's more like we're gonna meet at 10, and then I show up at 2.
Yeah.
Which is bad. I know that myself, but I also really actually have problems with keeping with actually doing that. And I think I'm on the track of getting it better. But then again, I've been also saying that for about half the past half year, so we're gonna see how that works.
Mm.
Uh,
And I
yeah.
mean, I have the issue of my the way I do work is unprofessional. Like I have no structure.
Yeah.
I mean, can you attest to that?
Uh,
Or
I mean, you do have structure. I mean, everyone has structure, but that structure should be consistent.
oh yeah.
That's kind of that's kind of a bit
Yeah.
the thing. But by the way, we both have a lot of issues with working behavior, being professional, especially when it comes to documentation.
Oh yeah.
Documentation
Yeah.
is a big part in game development. I don't think if you know that. The thing is that documentation really, really, really helps when you have a bigger team of 2 people.
You mean a bigger team than
Then 2 people. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be the grammar Nazi right now.
Yeah, even though I'm the German here, you fucking idiot. Um,
Wow.
you fucking filthy foreigner.
Now imagine that you are a game designer, you just got a lovely job of while they're in production of a game, and you're like, oh, awesome! I can level design for this lovely game and stuff like this. Yay! And then you're given all the documents you need to read, and they're weird and ambiguous. Like, okay, so what's your policy on the mushroom things? And they say, I do whatever you want with them. You're like, okay. You start making a lovely little thing with lovely little structure. A little bit later, your boss comes over and is like, yeah, this is not according to protocol. You're gonna have to scrap all this. I know you worked on this for like 4 hours, but you gotta redo all this. You know, we've set up guidelines for this.
Um, it's it's honestly it's a bit more like you look up the policy for those for these mushroom things, and the only thing it really says is don't forget about the lasers.
Then you gotta look at the lasers.
And then you got to look at the lasers, but for some reason there's no documentation on lasers. That's a bit more like it, I think.
Yeah,
It's,
and
it's,
then you
I mean,
find out. Oh,
yeah, a lot of the things that we do are in more intuitive, though we do know that they shouldn't be more intuitive. Like they should be
yeah,
intuitive for the player, but they shouldn't.
be intuitive for the game designer because game designers work on logic and reason.
But
It's just,
also on fun, which is completely not based on logic and reasoning. But also it is,
yeah.
which is like what?
If you see like a tiny little cute little piggy go up and go, it's adorable. You're having fun. If you see the piggy like on a little ball just swooshing up to space, it's funny, at least in my perspective. You
Yeah. Okay.
see, fun doesn't follow logic. He doesn't have the same definition of fun as me.
So okay, we had this breaking point in like early December where we actually started working on the project a lot more. We started to set ourselves like deadlines that we had to keep ourselves, which I know, which probably sounds from an outside perspective like a yeah no shit Sherlock, you should have done that from the beginning. Yeah, we should have done that from the beginning. We know that now.
Yeah, yeah,
There
we're
are a lot of
learning as we
yeah,
go.
there are a lot of things that we know now that we wouldn't or that we wouldn't do later on. That we wouldn't do if we would start this project over again, kind of. After that, we quickly got through like concepting, and we recently exited pre-production, I would say.
Pre-production, yeah, and now we're
And
on full-on production.
yeah, we're on full on production. We have made a few prototypes. We have the basic character movement completely on lockdown.
Yeah,
I mean, we pretty much have it on lockdown. There are like a few things we still need to tweak, but nothing that really influences the way that you play it. Just not how you play it, but um,
but
the
like,
feeling behind it.
yeah,
Like for example, Coyote time is something that we should be working on, and we didn't implement yet, which we should have.
yeah,
It's like small development, small designer tricks that need to be implemented, but nothing really more. We need art to be implemented. We need art
yeah.
to be more worked
We
on.
we still need to implement the second layer of mechanics and stuff.
Sound design is pretty much non-existent at this point.
That's true.
But the
We
main
have,
features are there. Main features are there, and they're already
yeah.
fun enough to play around with. That's the most important thing.
Of course.
We set ourselves, I think, time till midsummer. And honestly, with this Corona shit going on, we might as well have time till. Honestly might as well give us time till August,
Yeah. I mean, to
mid-August latest.
yeah, I thought this now with this stuff, of course we're gonna be done in August. Not only that, but you also have a job now.
Oh yeah,
Look how
that's
the
also one of the
turns
things.
have tables.
A few weeks ago, I started working in a local store for as like one of those idiots that stack the shelves. The
Yeah.
thing is that also like 2 or 3 weeks after that, the Corona shit actually got a bit more serious, and the toilet paper raids started, and not to forget the flour raids and the extermination of the pasta. So yeah, that was good in the beginning for like the first 1 or 2 weeks during the Corona time, we had less to do.
Mhm.
But following like I think the third or fourth week in, I realized there's going to be a lot more to do. And currently, I work instead of 10 hours for which is in my contract. I work for about 21 to 20 24 yeah 21 to 24 hours a week depending on how the week goes, just at the store, which is more than I want to, because that means
Mhm.
that I can spend 20 hours or less on the project if I want to see that I only work 40 hours a week.
Mhm.
I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to work more. Um, But then again, but then again, there are also a lot of personal issues that are currently playing in, which is why I pretty much didn't really work last week, and the weekend was also kind of shit for me. Example: my girlfriend is currently in a really peculiar situation in a different country, in the province of the Netherlands that is hit the most by Corona, which is something that already worries me, and I already have family members that have it,
Yeah.
which is also not really nice. But then again, this project is at least something that I can do. That actually is fun,
Yeah.
and it's not just and it's actually kind of helping my mental state a bit.
Yeah.
So this is kind of nice. Anything else for you to
Well,
say on how we got here?
on how we got here.
Yep.
Um, like currently in the project, well, I couldn't work for like a few weeks. During this whole time, I was a dish cleaner that lost his job, and then after a bit, now I'm dealing kind of with again, I'm dealing with family problems, but not as bad as yours, especially not with the corona. But right now, I'm cooped up with me mum in Frankfurt, of course. So then I'm a little bit more financially secure. And honestly, I don't think my life really changed because of Corona, because I'm still the basement dwelling gremlin I was before then,
For
and
all
I
the
still
for all the Germans here, he's part of the KKK, the Konsolenkellerkinder.
you have me worried there, mate. I I ain't after no chocolate, okay?
Oh yeah, by the way, just to clarify, I am not high. I am not high or stoned or anything. I just have very small eyes.
And to clarify, yes, I am British.
I mean,
I know.
honestly, how I see this, you're kind of the definition of an international citizen.
I mean, I kind of am. I mean,
How long has it been
English.
since? How long since has it been since you actually been in the UK? You see what I mean, right?
2 years.
And how long have you been staying up? 2 years before. How long have you been staying your last time?
Like 2 weeks. Like I
Yeah.
celebrated Christmas and New Year with my dad.
And have you also spent like half your life in Italy?
No.
Not half your life, but a few years at least.
But all right. Could you please do a little bit of math and divide 20 by 18?
So you
Oh no,
spent
wait,
most
no.
of your life.
No, okay. I've spent 3/4 of my life. I was there on 3, and I left at 18.
Yeah, okay. So he's pretty much the definition of an international dude. I am the
Yes.
definition of a German.
Yes, of course. And
I was born literally in a village, and I've lived there all my life, and until I fucking lived in a in a city, in a different country, in English.
yeah.
And then now I'm back. This is where I live, and I have a
Yeah.
whiteboard, which is nice.
Wow. Nice flex, man. You're
It's
you're
just
you sure are making me guilty.
yeah. Okay. What we are currently okay. What are we working currently on? There are actually a few things. Actually, there are a few things that we're actually working on right now. There's one main thing, and yeah, I think you can talk about that a lot better than I do right now.
Yeah. Currently we are working on a system of rating and discerning the difficulty of certain parts of levels. And specifically, we're looking into what actions within what actions. Well, sorry, not what actions, but what makes actions difficult. So what makes jumping difficult, what makes wall jumping difficult. We're basically making a rating system for that to make discerning the difficulty scale throughout the level a little bit easier. Not only that, but so we can change parts of the level to become more usable later on, because we can just change one thing in one part of the level slightly and then put it in a new thing. Maybe instead of making it just one jump, maybe we can find a way to make it jump and then two wall jumps with like moving platforms in the middle or something like that. And I am currently doing so for. I'm currently testing out if what we have discerned uh, about the difficulty in the wall jump is true by designing a level around what we believe is what makes wall jumping difficult or not, and then testing it out with actual people. I'm forcing people to play our game to figure out what's hard about it. And no, this whole thing is not voluntary. I'm keeping them hostage.
Yeah.
They are not allowed to leave.
So the main thing that we're essentially doing right now is setting up a difficulty matrix. Matrix, was it right?
Yeah,
No, good.
difficulty
Matrix.
metrics.
We're setting up a difficulty matrix using metrics
Yes, of
that
course.
we're gathering onto different on different player actions and different difficulty settings.
First,
So for everyone who doesn't know what a difficulty matrix is and what we're talking about right now, imagine if we were if the way that we've been trying to make levels so far is a bit more like the medicine out of like the 1900s,
yeah,
and everything that we're trying to do right now is trying to be a lot more precise than to just let a few liters of blood run out and just
yeah.
see if it gets better. Now we're trying. Now we're kind of discovering that bacteria exists.
Yeah, we discovered that the whole miasma theory is extremely incorrect. Well, I mean, it's correct with the coronavirus, kind of, not really, but it's also not. I mean, right now we've just discovered that epidemiology exists. That's the part of the development we are in currently. I hope
Yeah.
we
So
discover penicillin soon.
yeah. So essentially, we're trying to create a process that makes level design in general just a lot more precise. That we can control the
Yeah,
pacing as much as we can do essentially with our current skills.
yeah. To make the game more fun for
More
you
f-
people.
more fun and less frustrating.
Yeah, because apparently
Yeah.
we have to make the game for you guys.
Well, of course, we're also working on we're also kind of working on art. I mean, we are not working directly on the art, but we are trying to kind of get the art, kind of get our artists to work on things that are simple enough to be made quickly and efficiently with the time that our artist actually has to spend on a project.
Yeah,
While also, as you may be seeing that guitar in the background, I've been trying to teach myself how to play guitar the past few weeks. My little brother is starting to play bass, and we're attempting. Currently, at least I am. He ain't because he doesn't really have the means to do so.
yeah.
We're trying to make sound design using just guitars and maybe also drums, but I'm not quite sure about that yet because I've gotten to know someone who actually a colleague of mine at my store at the store that I work at turns out to actually be a drummer. He hasn't played drums in a while, but he's kind of a musical guy, music guy, so it can be very interesting to simply make sound effects by just using guitars and instruments, which could bring it a lot of personality. But if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But at least we would have sound design,
Not only that,
which we
but we would
currently
have
do
learned.
not have.
Yeah, and also we would have learned a valuable lesson.
Yes,
So yeah,
definitely. Um, Honestly, these are pretty much all the talking points that I have right now, and there are only a few more things that I would like to say. I don't know about you.
I mean, go on ahead. I mean, I need to sleep soon or whatever.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, something just fell down. No, this kind of format of a devlog, this kind of devlog format that we're trying to keep up now, kind of okay, it kind of has a few purposes, and I think one main point of that is something that we both actually did a lot more during our school time.
Oh yeah,
Reflection. It's kind of reflection,
yeah,
and also it's kind of a thing that we can look over again in a few years and either cringe at it or think how good were we back then, which would be very sad, but it's a
yeah.
possibility.
Well, I mean, it's also to show that our development as designers, in a way, as developers too. Not, no pun
Um,
intended.
yeah, yes, kind of. And also, we are probably going to do something like this every 1 or 2 weeks. We're not completely sure. It would
Yeah,
be greatly helpful if we could also gather some people that are interested in playtesting this game. But right now, we don't expect any of this, of course. It
yeah,
would be just kind of nice.
definitely.
We are probably go- I'm probably go- we're probably going to see that we also give some gameplay footage that we can already show by like maybe next week, maybe the week after that, depending on when we have to make another build that we want to get tested.
Yeah,
Because currently we do a lot of we want to do builds frequently that test that actually test content that we're trying to create. But before that, we have to actually make the difficulty matrix, or at least a difficulty matrix. Because the nice thing about the difficulty matrix is if you have a difficulty matrix for one single challenge concept, you can just take that challenge concept, use the difficulty matrix to make a lot of different versions of that one single challenge. That when you have just one single challenge concept, you can essentially use that to make 20 variations of that challenge and and spread it out over the game, which is actually something that which if you're not a game developer is something that a lot of people do, at least to take the one challenge concept and make a lot of variations of it,
Yeah.
which would be very very fucking helpful for all of us.
Not only that, but it also cuts development by a lot since we don't have to keep making different ones every single time. Though I will
Yeah,
admit it is fun. It's also fun to turn an old concept on its head.
yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, I am very sorry for everyone I'm very sorry, by the way, for everyone who watched this and was expecting experienced people.
Oh no.
We're not. We're very
Yeah.
unprofessional. We're trying to get more. We're of course trying to become more professional, but essentially we currently are not. We're just kind of hoping that this is something that you can watch, maybe on the side. Maybe if you're interested in game development and you want to see and you want to see what this actually means and how the people are that actually work in this kind of shit. We at least have two examples.
Oh yeah. And you can see that not only does everyone's
Mate,
game designers are also,
your audio just cut off for just a brief moment. Thank you.
and now you'll never know what I said.
Okay. So essentially, I'd be happy if you could leave us feedback for how we do this thing, as we're definitely going to change up how we do this probably a lot
Yeah.
if the next few times we do this. We are open to feedback. Every single bit of feedback is always welcome. If you're
Please
gonna
make
wor-
it
if you're gonna
constructive.
I mean, yes, please make it constructive. But if you want to write something along the lines of just go suck a cock, we can't blame you. We're just
Oh,
not
oh,
gonna listen
please.
to it.
I mean, if you present it to me, I will. Otherwise, it's not fair game,
But
mate.
George, that's gay.
Lol, I am.
Yes, for future reference, we have a fucked up kind of humor. It didn't
Yeah,
really shine through today because this was kind of a bit more of an introductory devlog.
we're trying not to deter people away right now.
No, we actually had content and we didn't sidetrack all the time.
We're actually focused.
Oh my god. I mean, we're not anymore because we're sidetracking right now, but oh my god.
Well, because what we wanted to talk about is over.
Yeah, we'd be happy if you'd be switching in again next time.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to do this a few more times till the end of till the end of the summer. And just maybe, if we are actually in the time where we do a lot of level design, we could, for example, also make like a developer live stream. I mean, it could be fun.
Oh. Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, I could do that. You don't have to do that. I like to do this kind of shit.
Oh no, I'm fine with it. I mean, till now.
Okay. Um. Then hope we hope you listen to us. You listen to us next time with this more podcast like devlog. We hope you had fun and this was at least slightly interesting for you.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to look into showing gameplay footage next time. We're going to definitely look into making this a lot better of an experience for you guys to put into next time. We just don't have that many resources to actually do that, as we're also kind of trying to work full time on this project
Yeah.
and make money on the side. At least I do that. Yeah. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are washing your hands frequently. Don't let the corona get to you. We hope
Yeah.
you're all doing well.
All right.
See you next time.
Arrivederci.
See you next time. Stay the fuck alive before COVID-20 comes, also known as the fucking zombie virus.